Once upon a time, in a kingdom bordered by endless forests and shimmering lakes, there lived a gentle and curious princess named Elara. She lived in a grand castle with tall towers and golden chandeliers, surrounded by courtiers, servants, and endless rules. Though her days were filled with lessons and royal duties, her heart often felt empty. More than jewels or fancy dresses, Elara wished for a true friend, someone who didn't care that she wore a crown or lived behind castle walls. She wanted someone to laugh with, to share secrets with, and to understand her without judgment. One bright spring afternoon, Elara slipped away from her lessons and wandered into the royal gardens. The scent of blooming roses and lilacs filled the air. A delicate butterfly caught her eye and, without thinking, she followed it beyond the garden gates and into the nearby forest. The butterfly danced through sunbeams, leading her deeper into the woods until it vanished near a meadow filled with wildflowers. There, Elara spotted something she could hardly believe. Hovering near a daisy was a tiny figure no taller than her hand. It had soft lavender hair, wings that shimmered like dew in the morning light, and a dress made of delicate flower petals. It was a fairy. The fairy gasped when she saw Elara and darted behind a mushroom. "Please, don't be afraid," Elara said softly, kneeling down. "I won't hurt you." The fairy peeked out, cautious. "You can see me?" "Yes," said Elara, eyes wide with wonder. "You're real. I always believed you were." The fairy fluttered closer. "Most humans don't believe. That's why they never see us. My name is Liri. What's yours?" "I'm Elara," the princess replied. "I'm so glad I found you." From that day on, the two became inseparable. Elara visited the meadow whenever she could, bringing thimbles for Liri to use as cups, ribbons to weave into her hair, and crumbs of cake from the palace kitchen. In return, Liri taught Elara to understand the language of birds and how to hear the wind's secrets. They told stories, sang songs, and shared dreams. Elara spoke of faraway lands she longed to explore, while Liri whispered of the fairy festivals hidden deep in the woods. But one evening, dark clouds gathered over the kingdom. A terrible storm swept through the land. Rain pounded the earth, and winds tore through the trees. Elara watched helplessly from her window, worrying about her friend. At first light, she ran to the forest. The meadow was nearly destroyed, flowers flattened, trees broken, and fairy homes washed away. Liri sat on a broken petal, her wings drooping with sadness. Without hesitation, Elara returned to the castle and gathered help. She brought gardeners, carpenters, and even her horse to carry supplies. They carefully restored the meadow, planting new flowers and rebuilding the tiny homes with leaves and twigs. Liri watched in awe. "You didn't have to do all this." Elara smiled and knelt beside her. "You're my best friend." "Of course I did." Word of Elara's kindness spread among the fairy folk. For the first time in centuries, they trusted a human. As the years passed, Elara and Liri's bond grew even stronger. Even when Elara became queen, she never forgot her friend. She would sneak away from royal duties to visit the meadow, where Liri would greet her with a twirl in the air and a laugh like wind chimes. Their friendship, built on kindness and trust, was stronger than magic. And so, the princess and the fairy lived happily ever after, not because of castles or wings, but because they had found something rare and beautiful, a true and lasting friendship.